a woman of remarkable faith and determination. Dr. Roseanne Smith briefly shares her inspiring journey of overcoming cancer. Despite the many challenges she faced, her unwavering belief and strength have been the driving forces behind her victory.
So we are here with Dr. Roseanne Jasmine Smith, right? She is Vincentian, but she took up residency in Jamaica. So she's a lecturer at the University of the West Indies, and she's gonna share with us her journey. As I said to her journey from St. Vincent to Jamaica, and she's here now, back in St. Vincent, just a brief visit, and she's promoting her book, "Not My Will, Lord, but Yours Be Done." So, Dr. Smith, thank you so much for being part of the Pulse Report.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm happy to be here and to share on my journey to Jamaica and also the book that I have just
All
written.
right. So we're gonna talk about your journey. You're Vincentian. Everybody knows that, and then you leave St. Vincent and you go to Jamaica to study. Did you thought that at some point that you're gonna settle in Jamaica?
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. When I went, I went for a degree, and the idea was to return right after that first degree. But as life would have it, my professor at the time, he asked me to return to do an MPhil, which is a research degree. And I could not see it, but as life will have it, I met someone, my boss.
You fell in love.
Yes, and I decided that after I came home after the first degree for 1 year, I said, you know what? Let me see if anything will go anywhere with my boss. So I contacted Professor Barker at the time, who was my supervisor, and who would have been the one who interested me in coming back to Jamaica. And I told him, but part of the reason also was I said, it's killing two birds with one stone. If the relationship didn't work out, at least I have a degree. So I went back, I did the MPhil, and as life would have it, I got married. But I would have already spoken to my husband and tell him, about St. Vincent, and I'm not going to stay in Jamaica. And, he had made up his mind to return with me.
Wow.
But, one thing after the other, and getting a job at UWI and everything and settling, I realized that, it's best to be there instead of returning to St. Vincent. And, I ended up having 2 children and made my life there.
How does it feel though? Because it's just a few Vincentians are lecturers at the University of the West Indies, and lecturers generally in terms of such institution. How did it feel for you in terms of getting that opportunity to serve as a lecturer?
It was really surreal, and I am very, very, very excited because, to be honest, I never see myself at that stage. I normally tell people I grew up very poor, and so every step of my way, it's almost like it was ordained by God, in all honesty. Because I didn't think about going to university. It was my friend Anella who encouraged me, because all of them were going and said, girl, you need to get your degree. And so that was the first step. Then I'm there finishing and ready to come back. Here was my professor encouraging the other step. When I finished the MPhil, which is what he told me, he said, Rose, you cannot come here and just do an MPhil because it's a research degree. Why don't you do a PhD? So I said, Prof, I am getting old, so if I go and do this PhD, I'm going to get a child during it. He understood, so I got pregnant while doing the PhD. But we had already had a conversation, and look and behold, here I am. Not ever thinking that I would be at this stage having a title. And I guess that is why people always say, change, because I can't embrace the title like how people see the title. I embrace the fact that I'm a crazy Vincentian girl who love climb hills and mountains and behave very crazy for those people who know me. Right? So to embrace this doctor thing is not, it's still not a part
It's just a title.
Yeah, it's just a title.
Right.
Yeah.
And what did you study in terms of your MPhil and then going on to your PhD?
Okay, so I did geography first degree, and when I started the research, I did it really in agriculture and climate change adaptation. So I studied looking at vulnerability to climate change for farmers, and that is what carried me. I had to upgrade from MPhil.
But we didn't know much about climate change at that time. Was it an interest that you have to do that? How did that interest come about?
I had an interest in disaster management.
Okay.
That was a passion, and I spoke to my supervisor about it. But he was an agricultural supervisor. He could not have done it. And so we decided to just move into climate change adaptation, which he was more familiar with. So it's almost like we bridge, you know, we form a bond during that time, and we decide, you know, let's do something in that. But I always had an interest in disaster management from doing it as a course on undergraduate level. It was one of my favorite courses, and I'm still very much passionate in it. I am teaching it at the University of the West Indies, and a lot of my research and work here in St. Vincent and in Jamaica is in the field of disaster management.
In terms of, in Jamaica, you settle, you have two children.
Yes.
Yeah, a boy and a girl.
Yes, praise God.
God bless you. Right.
Praise
Okay.
the Lord.
So then tell us in terms of now, in Jamaica, things settling down, you have the career, you have the happy family. Then what?
Well, the happy family didn't come easy. I like to put that out there. Come hard, people. It was hard. I went through infertility and so on. Enough prayer and fasting for those of you who don't believe. That's fine, but I believe. And I have my happy family. Two of them to do that. It wasn't easy, but I am blessed with a good husband who are very supportive and made living in Jamaica quite easy. Because I'm away from family, away from friends. But at the same time, I've met people there who are just good enough to, make me feel happy in this space in Jamaica. So that was a pretty easy
transition.
Adapting to the area.
Talk about a cancer journey that you have.
Yes. So it has been struggling. This is not my first book, I should say. I have another book that I wrote on hurricane. And I went through the infertility. I will think that would have been enough. I normally tell people I've gone through that, and that was rough. For people experiencing that, they know it's a lot of tears and all these things. So it was rough. So I wasn't expecting to face with another rough situation. Cancer was rougher. It was just a lump I felt. I was exercising at the time. I had made up my mind that I want to change my diet, change my lifestyle. So here was I going to the gym 3 days per week. I was eating better, cut out soda and all these things. And then I felt a lump. And I thought that the lump was, in fact, I didn't know it was a lump initially. I just felt a pain when I raised my hand. I thought I was pain up from exercising. But in feeling around, I felt the lump. And of course, I panicked. At the initial onset, I let my husband feel it, and he said, because his mother had breast cancer before and had just learned that it came back. So she was experiencing that at the time. And so I decided that I was going to see a doctor right away, which is critical. Oftentimes people don't want to do that, but I did. And he did an ultrasound, and he thought that it was a fibroid adenoma. He sent me to a radiologist who did the ultrasound. But in talking to the radiologist, and we were laughing and talking, he said,
that was in Jamaica?
Yeah, in Jamaica. He was like, this looks like a fibroid adenoma, which is a benign lump. Right. And he said, it's a good thing that you come early, but at the same time, you don't have anything to worry about. It doesn't look so. But he said, come back and get the results. Now, that made me feel a little comforted and almost like, I relaxed. But yet I said, every time I passed the area, I was delaying picking up the result because I said it's just, but something like a little voice saying, go and pick up a result, which I did. I picked it up, looked at it, it said fibroid adenoma. But it said a little in fine print, but further checks. So I went to a surgeon, and I should say he's Dr. Kirby. He's a Vincent Shong surgeon in Jamaica. And I heard about him and heard that he was very good. And I went to him and I said, I have a lump. I have a lump. I had one before, so it's not the first lump. And I said, this one doesn't feel right, and I don't want it in me. I don't care if it's a fibroid adenoma, whatever it is. I do not want it in me. He felt it and he said, you know what, I think you're right. Let's take that out. So I took it out. I went in, did the surgery. It was under local anesthesia. So it was a very simple in and out. I walk out with my bag on my hand, gone shopping and so on. It wasn't nothing big. Went to Costa Rica having my fun there. It was for work related. Come back, intended to walk in because I had to go back and check. For a short visit. I thought it would have been a short in and out visit. And then I went in only to learn on that day that I had cancer, that the lump he tested was cancerous. And so that was when my whole world turned upside down. When I said it was like spinning. He was talking to me about the next step, all the questions, and I was just in another world. I don't know what I was hearing from what I wasn't hearing.
I could
I remember
imagine.
just getting on my phone and calling my husband, and when he stepped out for something, I said, Ras, I have cancer. You know,
Wow.
and he there to this day he doesn't like parking in that spot because that is where I give him the bad news.
Wow.
You know, so if we go into the plaza, he's like, I'm not parking there.
My goodness.
And my daughter unfortunately found out then because I'm calling him and he had it the
On
vehicle,
speaker.
the Bluetooth.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
okay.
So it came through that and she heard. So I am coming back downstairs to them and people, my knees just buckled when I saw the vehicle because in my head it was my children, my husband, and you know when you hear cancer, you think death.
Right. Death
Right? So
sentence,
it was really, really tough mentally on me. I signed up for counseling. I'm a Christian, of course, but at the same time, even though I'm a Christian, it's something will test your faith. You know, I ain't going to pretend that, oh, I was right up there with Jesus and just know that he was going to work a miracle. It tested my faith tremendously. So I had a counselor who helped me navigate emotions, and that is why people see me here looking like if I didn't have cancer and so on. But it's because I've learned to deal with the mental part of it, the mental battle. So even though it was a physical battle because I went through chemotherapy. It was stage 2 breast cancer, so it was early breast cancer, but it also was the most aggressive of all of the types of breast cancer. So I had the one that, you know, they don't really know what caused it. So here as I did genetic testing, I have no genes that connect me to breast cancer. I do not have breast cancer in my family. So it was a very unique situation. I don't know if it's stress, I don't know what it is. So it's harder to treat. They just have a standard treatment. And I went through that. And it was in my journey that I wrote
this
the book.
Not my will, Lord, but yours be done.
It was in that journey that I wrote the book because it speaks about not just what I was going through, but how I dealt with the second battle. Because there's a physical battle, which is the impact of chemotherapy on you. I lost hair wherever hair was. Right? Eyebrow, eyelashes. The eyebrow and eyelashes hang on for a little while, but you know, after a while it leave me. And it doesn't just leave you, it ages you. So if you look at me now and you look at me in those pictures, it looks like I'm in my 60s there. It ages you. So I cried a lot looking at myself in the mirror, cannot recognize myself. I had to cover my head because of my children and I have to make them feel comfortable. My daughter was doing one of her major exams because unlike common entrance in St. Vincent, they have something called PEP that starts in grade 4, grade 5, and then the larger part in grade 6. So she had that doing, and I had to try my best to be strong for them. I had my mommy who came from St. Vincent to Jamaica, so she helped and helped my husband tremendously because I don't think he could have managed everything. So it was really tough mentally. But my counselor, she asked me to see myself as a fruit tree. And I think those words were the ones that resonated. She said a lot of things, but I always remember that. Because when I wrote the book, I said the book itself is a fruit. Because people are going through that. A lot of people do not like to speak about their journey. But in me talking about it and showing people how I navigated it, it will help. Because a big part of it was coming to the point where I wouldn't say I accepted death, but I accepted God's will, whatever it was. Right? So I said, Lord, I do not want to die. I want to be here for my children. I want to watch them grow. I don't want another mother who might not be able to love them like how I love them to be in their life. I want to be that one. And so I said that to him, but I said at the end of the day, it is not my will but yours be done. And that is what gives the name of the book, because I remember Jesus in Gethsemane where he said, Father, take this cup away from me. Meaning that he never liked what was going through. He was praying, but at the same time, he accepted the Father's will. And after I did that, I found a sense of peace. And I am who I am, you know, prosperity and all this thing. Not because cancer did not do me what it did me a lot. But at the same time, I have learned to navigate my emotions and mentally increase my strength. And
you're a survivor, and I'm really, really happy to hear in terms of your story of surviving and survival.
Yes.
Because they always say that when you have cancer, it's like you alone doesn't have cancer, but the entire family.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you have that kind of support system.
Yes.
I'm really, really happy. So in terms of what's now, what is it now for Jasmine? What is it
now I am focusing on healing, because it's a lifetime of healing. You have to still do your scans and so on. I'm focusing a lot on family, because I can tell you one thing. you learn in this cancer journey that you spend time wasting energy on very trivial matters, things that are not important. And even though I'm a very vocal person and like to speak up, I realize now that I can watch things and ignore things. I can move on. It's all about having fun with my family, enjoying life, retiring in a sense now, because I'm not waiting. I don't know if there's a retirement age for me in 60s, 70s, 80s. I can't see that future. I can only see this future, what is here. So in this immediate time, I am enjoying meeting people, talking to people, spending time with my family and enjoying life and doing my career and everything. So I'm living it one day at a time, but I'm living it in the fullness of Christ and with the happiness and everything that comes with family time.
All right, your book, right? I mean, it's about your cancer journey and your journey specifically. But what is it that you want people to get away from it?
Okay, one of the things that I want them to get is, as Christians, the book can be used for anybody who is sick. But I know as Christians, we have a way of, when we speak about faith, we really talk about how faith, but people don't know how to activate their faith. And so I want people to understand practically how to activate that faith, that faith in God. What does that look like, right? So that is one of the main purpose of the book, to show them even in their sickness how to activate that faith. Also to understand that it's not, even when you're going through, it's not about a miraculous journey where God touch you or you get a vision and you drink some. It's not just about that. It's also about how you spend each day after you learn about such a devastating disease and so on. And one of the things that I found very helpful is gratitude. And so when I shared in the book about the scripture that said, be anxious for nothing, but in everything with prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, make a request known unto God, and the peace of God will be with you. When I share that, it means something different. It doesn't mean that you don't pray. It doesn't mean that you don't make your supplication, but at the same time, it says with gratitude. And I realized throughout my journey, I was thinking about all these things. Every time my son kissed me, and I could feel the kiss, I said, God, I'm grateful. Yes, at the time I had cancer, but at the same time I was seeing them. I could laugh with them, I could smile with them. They were hugging me, they were kissing me. So everything that was beautiful is what I was focusing on. The word of God says, ponder whatever things are true, right, just, and all those things, excellent and praiseworthy. So I was looking at that, and I realized when I draw my mind away from what was happening and focusing on all the beautiful things, I was so much happier. So I was walking, people were seeing me, and they were saying, if you don't tell anybody, they wouldn't know. And I said, yeah, because at the end of the day, I learned to navigate life and to enjoy life in the moment. And so that book, encapsulates all those things, all the ways I fought, how I fight, is what I placed in the book, hoping that somebody else will be encouraged and learn to fight just the same.
All right, I know you spoke openly also, and I see on Facebook as well. Yeah, you spoke about the support that you have received. Tell me about that kind of support, both in Jamaica and in St. Vincent.
Yes.
Because you also mentioned to me that all the books sold out that you bought in.
Well, I'm to be honest, I'm happy because I sent 50 books here. I wasn't expecting it, but the support has been very tremendous. I mean, in Jamaica, I got a lot of support in Jamaica online because it's also on Amazon. So people bought the book a lot on Amazon because it's a book that it's not only for breast cancer survivors or people going through breast cancer. It is for people who are sick. You go in the hospital, you're sick, and sometimes people don't know what you're going through. Initially, I didn't share my journey. And I didn't share my journey because I didn't want people to know. At the time, I didn't even know how to navigate it. And sometimes when you share things with people, everybody starts to bawl. It's like you are dying, they think you're dying, and everybody starts to bawl. Not only that, they start to tell you all who dead from it. And so I didn't want to be hearing who dead. I wanted people who could have spoken life into me while I was living and encouraged me. So I shared it with just a few people. But since I came out with this story, I can tell you, there are people who still do not know about the book, but as they learn that, I've written it, they have shared support. I have people buying, people I do not know. Facebook followers, people who follow me, I didn't know that I have such a crowd, but thank you all. They shared, and even right now I'm coming from grammar school where I just did a presentation, and I met, persons say, oh, I would like a copy. I said, I don't have anymore. It's good to say that I don't have anymore. I don't have anymore. Right. The demand has been really great, and I'm hoping by if God spare my life and I'm back here in the summer that I can also share again and share some of those books with
Yeah,
people.
and we're looking forward to basically follow up on
Yes.
your journey.
Thank you
And
so
thank
much.
you so much for having us and for being part of our program.
Thank you so much.
All right, and all the best.
Thanks a lot.
Guys. All right, take care.
Today, Dr. Roseanne Smith, or Jasmine as she's affectionately known, stands as a testament to the importance of having faith, staying determined, and never losing hope, no matter the circumstances.
The Pulse Report SVG, capturing the heartbeat of current events, where we take you beyond the headlines.